Thank you for listening to Shy Sox Talk with your hosts, Chris and Matt, your weekly place for White Sox fan reactions. Kick back, relax, grab your favorite beverage, and enjoy the show.
Hello. Thank you for listening to Shy Sox Talk. Welcome to episode 31. My name is Chris. As always, I'm here with my co-host and good friend, Matt. How you doing tonight, Matt?
Howdy, doing great. Living the dream. Can't wait to talk about some White Sox. Episode 31. Pretty crazy. Liam Hendricks number. So hopefully it'll bring us a little luck and Liam a little luck here. So
we should start doing that as long as White Sox have played in that number. Liam Hendricks episode. Shout out Liam Hendricks. Come on. You're welcome. Before we get started, huge news for our podcast. We have been we've officially partnered with TopFanRivalry.com to be their exclusive White Sox show and content. Link will be in the description below, bottom of the screen. Code for it is CHISOXTALKS, 10% off locker room access and all merch.
And merch.
Maybe they'll make a cool shirt of just me and Matt just hanging out.
Who knows?
If you ever just wanted a hat of me and Matt, possible. It might be possible soon. You know?
It's anything's possible in these modern times.
And Chat GPT-4 is like programming video games in 10 minutes. So
yeah, we're just gonna have that do the podcast starting next week, guys. So
it's just gonna be renderings of our faces.
We're just gonna have Skynet do the podcast moving forward.
So, White Sox are a couple weeks into spring training. World Baseball Classic goes on. But the big question is, what do the White Sox do with Garcia, Berger, Sheets, and Gonzalez? I think the way it sits now, you can pencil in 10 guys, definitely. Actually, probably 11. So last year, the White Sox went, 13-13, right? Pitchers, batters, fielders, I guess. You can lock in 11 right now. The starting 9: Grandal, Vaughn, Andres, Tim, Moncada, Benintendi,
Chicken-Tendy, Lewis Robert, and then I'm pretty sure it's going to be Oscar Colas. I don't think they're going to play the service time game with him. It's time to play.
Yeah. So him and Eloy probably splitting right field. Eloy's going to get time out there. He lost a bunch of weight. He actually looks pretty good in right field. So there's 10 right there. Debbie Zavala is your 11. Actually, so there's probably 12 because your fifth outfielder in reality is going to be Billy Hamilton. He's a defenseman for replacement. There's a pitch clock, limited throwovers. Bases are bigger. He's going to steal bags. Like, there's no way you keep him off a roster.
That's an interesting thought. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think Billy's going to make the team personally.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Because he can't hit.
Who cares if he can't? 8th inning, Eloy walks. You put him in at first and let him take a bag or two, and then all of a sudden you just sack fly for the winning run, and he can go play right field.
That's why I think they would rather go with a guy like Romy instead of Billy, because at least there's some upside with the bat with Romy, and he's got a little more power in the bat, and he can play everywhere.
Well, that's the interesting question, right? So let's say there's 2 roster spots. Who do you give them to? I give it to Romy and Billy, and then I try to package Sheets, Berger, and Cespedes anywhere else. I don't think either one of them has a real future on the major league roster.
Yeah, I mean, Gavin Sheets, he actually benefited from the shift last year. He hit a lot of dribblers down the third baseline and got a lot of infield hits that are going to not be hits this year. With that being said, he probably had a lot of hits taken away, pulling a line drive into shallow right field. I like Gavin Sheets as a hitter. He doesn't really fit on this team because we have a lot of first baseman DH guys, and he was not a great fielder. But he's got power. He's got a lot of power in the bat, and I don't know if he's going to make the White Sox squad, but I think he could be a piece on another team.
I agree with that. I think so. Here's the reality for Gavin Sheets. Oscar Colas won the right fielder job. Sorry, Gavin, it's over. I hate to be the one to really break it to you. If nobody
And
else
he's left,
has,
and with Colas being a left-handed hitter, like,
yeah,
and we now have Benintendi, Mancada, and Grandal. They have a lot of balance in the lineup, and they didn't have it last season, so they kind of needed to play Gavin Sheets, and I don't think they're going to have that problem with this season.
I don't think so either. And his best fit is reality. If he's not traded, being in Charlotte and playing every day, like that's his best situation right now because he's then not sitting on the bench, and it's not a Zach Collins situation where, like, a part of what really screwed up Zach Collins was McCann became an all-star out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden Zach Collins sat on the bench and saw 10 at-bats a season and just flamed out. And you're going to end up in the same situation with Gavin Sheets because what, is he going to pinch hit once a week? Like, are we really using our
he was
on that?
I haven't looked at his numbers as a pinch hitter, but coming like just off of the top of my memory here, I think he pretty good as a pinch hitter. Like, I think he had a couple dingers off the bench last season, but yeah, I mean that's not a good way to use him. It's really not fair to him. I think like you could maybe flip him to like a rebuilding team or something for a couple. You're not going to get much back for him, but maybe a couple lottery picks or something. Just kind of, or lottery tickets, not lottery picks, lottery ticket kind of guys back for him. Same thing with Berger. I don't think, he hits the ball so well, but he doesn't fit as a defender anywhere. And our DH is filled. We got Eloy.
Yeah. Eloy or Colas. If it's a lefty, Colas is probably going to DH. Or they even put, maybe they give Grandal the rest day off behind the plate, put Sebi back there, and Grandal DHs and Eloy plays right. Like that hole is filled. I think there's a possibility because I don't see Yoenis Cespedes having a real shot at the major league team.
You mean
Colas?
Welke?
Oh, Welke, sorry. Welke having, because Colas isn't right now. He's not better than Luis Robert. Throw that idea out. And you sign Benintendi to 5 years. Like, do you try to package Welke, Berger, and Sheets and send them, I don't even know where, Colorado, Oakland, Pittsburgh, the Reds, and try to get like one or two viable bullpen guys back, or a bench guy, or a
I don't even
pitcher.
know. I don't even know if you would get a good professional player back. Like, I think you could only get minor leaguers back for those guys because they aren't going to make the team. So I don't think you get anything good back for them. So maybe hold on to them and see where that takes you.
And use an option and just send them to Charlotte. I guess Welke is in Double-A Birmingham, right? Like, but again, how long do you let a 24-year-old international prospect sit in your minor league system before his value's gone?
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of in a tough situation with those guys because I didn't really pan out the way you would want them to have. And then with like the first baseman logjam, like the first base DH guys, we already had to get rid of a fan favorite, a hero of the White Sox and of Cuba. They already had to kind of jettison Jose Abreu just for that very same reason because they had to. Andrew Vaughn came up, and Eloy might end up playing a little first base. We'll see. I don't think he's been working that in the spring, but at some point in the future, I would imagine we might see him at first base. And DH, we got too many guys that play those positions, and the guys that are up now are capable of doing it.
Yeah, I agree. So I mean, then what are those last two bench spots? I mean, like I said, for me, it's Billy Hamilton and Romy Gonzalez, and like, because you need a fifth outfielder that plays just pure defense and a base stealer. At least that's my argument for Billy. And then Rami can play everywhere. He can play middle infield. He can play the corners. And maybe you cut. I mean, Do the White Sox cut Garcia?
I
$12 million?
think Leary Legend, goodbye. Happy trails. I don't think he's going to make the team this year. I think Pedro's pretty serious about it, and that like strategy wise, that's a guy that didn't hit last year and didn't really field that great either as a defensive replacement. So I think he might be moving on finally.
I am trying to pull up Leary Legend's spring training stats here, but I think if you're a team that's serious about winning a World Series, you cut dead weight like Garcia. What is Garcia really bringing to the team that like is so irreplaceable that you leave a guy off the roster that you really want there? And
well, he's that utility player, Swiss Army that that's his utility is that being able to play multiple positions. But I think Romy Gonzalez is younger. Romy Gonzalez has more power. Like he's that same position, and I think they're just going to go with the younger guy who has more upside because we've seen the top of what Leary Garcia will give you, and we've seen the bottom of it too, and the bottom was bad, and the bottom was last year.
Yeah, so far in spring training, 25 at bats, 200 average, home run, 2 RBIs. I think both came on that home run. OPS is 659 and 1 stolen base. Last year, 300 at bats, 210 batting average. Let's see if you got this guess right here, Matt. How many home runs do you think Garcia put up last year? 300 at bats.
I feel like he had 1.
3. 20 RBIs, bad, and 2 stolen bases. So I think.
And he was hurt. Got hurt a lot, and it was bad.
All right, so we can cross Garcia off, right? You're looking at the roster. So Garcia's in theory, out of this. So now at the bench, we got Sebi, because you have to have like a backup catcher. Or you could have, Garcia knows how to catch, so I guess. So you have Sebi, then you have, and Sebi's your 11. So who's your 12 and 13 then, Matt?
I really think Hanser Alberto is going to make the team, and I think he'll be your utility infielder. And I think they'll think more of Romy as the outfield replacement because he's got good range out there. He's looked pretty decent fielding the ball in the outfield. But Hanser Alberto seems like a big like Pedro likes him a lot, so I think he's going to make the team. And he's been hitting the ball pretty well in spring training.
I agree with that. I like that. Then who do you do with your last spot, right? So it's Sebi, Hanser, Rami. So that's what, 10, 11, 12. Who's your 13? Or if you're the White Sox, you just say, we'll bring 14 pitchers.
That might be the case too, because they have a bunch of those guys they traded for in the off season, like that were they took a flyer on, are actually throwing the ball really well in spring training. So maybe they'll have more pitchers, but I also think that possibly Jake Berger can hit his way onto the team. Because that bat, that is a professional bat. That's a professional bat in his hands. And he can play third base. He's not good at it, but he can fill in there. I'm sure he could probably play first base if he needed to. He could DH. So, and he could hit. So that's the thing.
And that's when it comes down to it. That's really what matters. Looking at he's not even on the roster right now. What's going on, depth chart, guys? Come on, give Jake Berger a shot, folks. Just taking him completely out of the depth chart.
Berger coming off the bench as a pinch hitter, I could see that being pretty good, pretty potent.
Spring training this year, 205 batting average. That's the only thing. He doesn't have a huge batting average. He's kind of like a true outcome guy, but 4 home runs. Last year he had 8 home runs and only 168 plate appearances. He really only played that first month and a half-ish. And he tore the cover off the ball. I think we saw him hit one out at guaranteed rate. When we were there.
I think we did.
Yeah.
He's got power. He's got big league power.
What do you think guys talk about their big league power, Matt?
Pardon?
Where do you think guys talk to each other about their big league power?
I don't know.
In the locker room. How do you know how to get locker room access?
I think I do know how to get locker room access.
How would you get locker room access, Matt?
I think you would use the code at the bottom of the screen here at topfanrivalry.com. I think you would use that, get 10% off, and sign up for a little membership, and you could hear about some big league power in the locker room.
That's right, some exclusive big league power.
That was an amazing segue, incredible.
Thank you.
That was like very professional.
Looking. I wrote a few down today. I was like, what would a smooth transition look like? Reach your full potential. Get hitting tips from the best guys in the game. Eloy Jimenez, Luis Roberts in a locker room. Not our locker room, but
he's in a locker room. Drake LaRoche, he's a locker room guy.
He actually got banned from our locker room. Drake LaRoche was not allowed in the locker room.
Yeah, he is not allowed on the podcast either. He's not allowed on the show. Drake or Adam. No thanks.
But yeah, so I mean, Jake could, in theory, really hit his way on the team. It could be a situation though where the White Sox, how many innings will Michael Kopech really pitch? How many innings will, Jimmy Lambert be able to eat, or Garrett Crochet be able to take? Like, do you want that extra arm? Do you just say, like, too bad? Folks?
I think Kopech's going to be like an ace level pitcher this year. I'll say that.
I do too. I agree.
I think he's really good. I think he's going to be the gem of the Chris Sale trade when it's all said and done.
It's starting to already look like it. Unless like Yohan goes out and hits like 15 home runs and gets a Gold Glove, it could be Michael Kopech with the real prize.
Hey, if Moncada brings the bat and the glove that he brought to the World Baseball Classic, we're going to be looking for a good year on Southside, folks.
Well, he hurt his oblique last year, and I don't think that's like something that just like heals. I'm not a doctor.
I think he came back early and it just stayed hurt the whole season. So he probably should have not rushed back, but I imagine he felt like he needed to.
Well, you saw what he said. He said somebody has to play. Like somebody has to be out there. Jake got hurt. Danny Mendick got hurt. I think Tim got hurt once or twice last year. Like, a lot of guys went down, and I think eventually, like, it was just a situation where you're like, hey, like, somebody's got to play, and like, I'll do it. And he lockered next to Yohan. Yohan lockered next to Jose Abreu, and he saw Abreu just gut out every day and probably rubbed off on him. All right, let's start the final roster prediction here for the pitchers. Let's lock yourself into something. What do you got? Or for the batters, lock yourself in. Let's see what your accuracy is like.
What do you mean? Like who I want? Like you want
who
all of them?
Think? So opening day, voters that are going to be on the roster, getting their names called out.
So I definitely think Romy Gonzalez, like for the bench guys, Romy Gonzalez is going to be there. Sevi Zavala is going to be the catcher. I think Hanser Alberto is going to be there too. I really do. And then like the cast as usual, Eloy Jimenez DH, Yasmani Grandal starting catcher, first base Andrew Vaughn, second base Andrews, Tim, Yohan, and then left field Chicken Tendy, Luis Robert, and Junior. He's gonna look like Ken Griffey Jr. I feel it. Put that Junior back there. You'd be swinging like the kid. He's gonna switch to lefty. And then Oscar Colas in right field. I think is that everyone, or am I missing someone?
That's 12. You think they go with 14 pitchers then, or do you think they put a?
No, I think I'm gonna say this. I think Jake Berger is gonna make the team.
Okay.
Could be completely.
Is that the hot prediction?
Showing the power. Yeah. That's my.
They cut Garcia?
Yep. I think Leary's gone.
Okay. I got same starting 9 as you. There's unfortunately the White Sox don't have any like exciting. There was position battle between Oscar Colas and Gavin Sheets was exciting for a day, and then you
There's
saw
a
Oscar
blowout.
play, and it was over. But for the bench, I got Sebi, obviously, Romy Gonzalez. I agree with you with Alberto. I think it's going to be Billy Hamilton that sneaks in. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a move where Berger, Sheets, and Ukulele are just shipped. I just don't see a real future for either one of them, which sucks because I like all three of them. They seem like all good guys. But in my head, like, you need a fielder that can go out and replace somebody and go take a bag. Like, Eloy walks in the 8th. You're telling me you don't want Billy taking 2nd and 3rd on a pitch clock when it's 6 inches shorter? And 6 inches is a lot, guys. All right. So, like, it's just, it makes too much sense. It makes too much sense for Billy to not be on this team.
Yeah, I can see it going that way too. If they just are like, we want a defender. Adam Engel would have been perfect to hold on to this season, but I think he can't hit either. So
yeah, he couldn't.
He's never been able to figure it out. He had like a 3-week stretch in 2001 where he looked like a
2001.
monster.
He
Yeah.
had a illustrious career then. If it was 2001.
21.
Yeah, 20 plus years in the major. That's pretty good.
Yeah, he's been killing it. 2021, folks. Sorry, I had a full day of work here. So
And that was like the series where just after the trade deadline at Wrigley, where Cesar Hernandez hit a home run, and I was like, "Oh my God, this was the best trade ever!" It wasn't. And then Craig Grimble immediately gave up a tank. And it didn't stop. It did not stop. Oh boy. Well, as always, thanks for listening, folks. Again, if you want that exclusive content, link in the description below. Code CHISOXTALKS for 10% off. Any advice for our listeners before we go, Matt?
You know what? I'm going to be out there for opening day. If you can snag a ticket, I highly recommend it. I've only been to an opening day game once prior, and it was amazing. I went in 2006, first game of the season against the Cleveland now Guardians. CC Sabathia was on the mound. It was Jim Thome's first game as a White Sox player. They unveiled the World Series banner. It was pretty sweet. If you can get some tickets to an opening day anywhere, I mean, even if you're in another state somewhere listening to us, opening day is just like a special thing for baseball fans and really kind of just for the country of the United States. It's like it's our own kind of little special cultural thing.
That's right. And if you go to the White Sox opening day, who knows? Maybe you'll see Matt. If you see Matt, go tell Matt's birthday.
I'll be on that third baseline. I'll be on that third baseline zone.
Opening day is, I think, less than 2 weeks, 13 days now. So they're going to be playing Houston. Jose right off the bat.
Yeah.
So I hope he goes 0 for 4. As always, go White Sox.
Go White Sox.